What's going on, guys? Brent Swanson here at Maximum Muscle Report, here with your overall 35 and over bikini champion, Heidi Powell. Heidi, how are you feeling?
Feeling great, totally incredibly grateful and so surprised, to be honest.
Okay.
Did not expect it.
Now, I tell you what, when I saw the list coming out, I was doing play-by-play, and I was like, Heidi Powell, Chris Powell. I watch these guys on TV all the time. They're the most positive people in the whole wide world. But then my mind went to this. How's she gonna look on stage? I'm just being honest. I was like, is she going to bring it? Or are they going to bring what they say on the outside on the inside? And I tell you what, you went on stage, and I'm not just saying that, from your tan to your suit, the way your makeup was done, the way your body, I mean, you look like a pro up there. I was telling the person I was sitting next to, I said, she's going to win the class in the whole show. I mean, it was very evident, and I know that you're very humble, but I just want to tell you from my perspective, and obviously from the judge's perspective, it was a great win for you. So how did you go?
That means a lot to me. Actually get chills and goosebumps, because when you say it, I'm like, really? Like, is this real life right now? It's something I've worked so hard for so many years, for 2.5 years now, and it just, this is all completely surreal. Completely surreal for me.
Now, how do you go from, you have multiple businesses, obviously you're on primetime TV, how in the world do you fit this into doing what you're doing? Because as we all know, to live a healthy lifestyle is one thing, but to get on a stage is a whole nother ball game.
You know, you actually just said it. I fit this into my life. I think a lot of people try to fit a life into training, and it doesn't happen that way. You have to have those big rocks in your life. My rocks are my family, it's my community, it's my job, it's my career, it's mine and my husband's purpose in life, it's my husband. And once you put those big rocks in, you can drizzle the sand in and fill up the jar with everything. And really, the workouts, the nutrition, I have to eat anyway. I have to work out anyway to be fit. It's part of my job. So why not cater the way that I eat and the way that I work out towards something like this, towards a goal like getting on stage and hopefully someday getting my pro card.
Right.
And it worked. It took time. I don't think it was as fast of a track as a lot of girls who can get there in 5 months. It took me a little bit longer, but I also had 4 kids. I had a lot of jobs, and, you know, an amazing husband filming me on off camera right now.
Now, how do you, okay, obviously you've been working out your whole life. You guys are healthy. What was the biggest thing that you had to do to transition? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. It's been a big day. Those trophies are not light.
Kind of heavy. Yeah, there we go.
What's been the biggest hurdle, I guess, from going to working out as a traditional person who works out to competing? What are some things that you really kind of had to break mentally to get to where you are today?
Yeah, you know, one of the biggest challenges for me was actually getting away from so much cardio and hitting the weights more, because I was more of a cardio fiend, and I did a lot of CrossFit, which is great. Cross training is wonderful for a different goal. So for me to actually just lift weights and know that that's enough for my body was really, really hard for my mind. I actually struggled with an eating disorder for 10 years of my life. So after that, going into something where I can't feel like I'm burning off and running my calories was just so, it took a big leap of faith. But I have to say, as I actually built the muscle and I was able to see that the more muscle I have, the leaner I was able to get, I realized there is a method to the madness. That was the hardest thing for me.
Exactly. Now, going from being an amateur to now a newly turned pro, next time you step on stage, what should we see differently? What are you really going to hone in on for your pro debut?
I feel like posing. I mean, that's a whole different ball game in the pro world. Like, I see those pros up there, they're so inspiring and so beautiful and so elegant on stage. It's like 6 times as long as I am on stage right now. So that's definitely going to be the thing that I have to work the hardest on. Of course, there's going to be some changes in my body, but I mean, that can happen in the gym. It can happen with how we eat, but the posing it's where it's at. Stage presence is everything.
Yeah, no, I firmly agree. And now, before we sign off, any thanks that you want to give real quick?
Of course, there's so many people.
Before you give any thanks, we're going to kick this up a notch.
Okay.
So Heidi,
baby blue eyes?
Yes, with my baby blue eyes. Now, you know, we cover shows all over the country. We cover a lot of pro shows. I wasn't here for prejudging. Brent and Sarah were handling prejudging. I happened to come out tonight just in time for the overall to happen. And when you guys lined up, I didn't know who was called out this morning. I didn't know anything. And I immediately said, there's your overall winner.
Really?
Do you realize that you have the ability now to transition from where you are currently to go into the IFBB and eventually do some damage?
And they compete.
You
not
really
just
do
to
make
show
me
up.
cry. Isn't it funny how we are all our own worst critic? Really, like we don't see ourselves the way that other people do. And hearing you guys say this, it means so much. So thank you. I
you're
shouldn't
welcome.
cry over this.
You know,
And you didn't even know who you were either. Like,
this
you know
is
what I mean? Like,
this is
was very
another
evident.
transition, because I don't know if you guys did this as something as a bucket list or if it was
Actually,
yeah. But now there is a reality to the fact that there's a lot of women in the IFBB. They're between 35 and 42, 43.
Yeah.
They just don't talk about it.
Yeah, it's
Nobody
true.
wants to know what the
It's
age
true.
is. So for you to be able to go back to the drawing board, work on a few things. I know you mentioned posing.
Yeah.
You probably come in a little tighter, maybe a little
Yep.
leaner.
Yep.
Add just a touch more muscle in a few other
Yes.
places. You can be a very competitive IFBB pro. Now, have you actually thought about that, and is that something you might transition into next?
You know, believe it or not, I've never thought about it because I think human nature, like I was saying, we always think we're less deserving and less valuable than we actually are. And I can coach people all day long on that. On our show, on everything we do, I'm like, don't you see your potential? But it's hard for me to see. So it really means a lot when I hear stuff from people like you guys giving me that extra push, because yeah, you say it and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I can do it, then I can do it. Yeah. You know, so yeah.
But she's humble too, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of times in this
guys are
sport,
nice.
people like are very into themselves, and you know, as me and you, being your own worst critics, we're humble people, you know. But you see a lot of people who are just so self-absorbed. So I think I can get where you're coming from, that you're not self-absorbed, so you're always your own worst critic and always just kind of, you know, always dogging yourselves. But you have every reason in the world to feel confident and stepping onto that next stage in the near future, because I mean, I think the sky's the limit, you know, with a little bit more tweaking and a little bit more time, honestly.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
It's a real conversation now, because we do know that you have a lot of other things going on. But there is that much more time, effort, and dedication that puts into being a consistently good IFBB pro. So that's something you and your husband are obviously going to have to talk about. But it is a definite possibility. And hopefully the answer will be yes, and we will be doing another interview in months to come, or possibly next year somewhere.
I would love that. Well, you put the bug in my ear.
Yeah.
So.
There you go.
I see the wheels turning now.
They are. They are. I'm like, wow, okay, what else can I? And it is one of those things. It's like even the people we work with, it's like when they accomplish one thing, they're like, I can do this.
Right.
Now, what else can I do? They do that. Okay, what else can I do? And this
what's
really
the
is
next
one of
goal?
those moments for me.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you
Congratulations
so much.
once again.
Thank you.
Until next time, guys, Brent Swanson, Amanda Spuckle, Maximum Muscle Report, we're out.
Thank you.